Today I shall be speaking to you on equipping theme for politics and leadership, and with special emphasis on nurturing tomorrow's leaders. So, what is politics? Politics can be defined as an activity through which people make, preserve, and amend the general rules under which they live. Can I take that again? Politics can be defined as an activity through which people make, they preserve, and amend the general rules under which they live. So in a way, politics is a practice whereby we have come to an agreement on how we are going to live our lives. That is what politics is all about. So we make rules, we do everything to preserve the rules. That's why we talk about the rule of law. We amend the rules based on experience and certain developments over time to ensure that those rules remain imaginative and fair to all. And we then agree to live by the rules that we have made. So it's interesting to see this perspective of politics, that politics is not corruption. Politics is not something just the wearing of big dresses and carrying some people up and down. Rather, politics is intended for the construct of the society, to making it a better place to be. And alongside this, we shall also be asking ourselves the question, who is a leader? A leader is a visionary that energizes others. Somebody, as another person defines leadership, that person simply says leadership is influence. That is John Maxwell, a popular public speaker on the subject of leadership. He says leadership is influence, and a leader is the person that exerts that influence, who by the force of appeal energizes others to do certain things. This definition of leadership has two key dimensions. One is creating the vision of the future, and two, inspiring others to make the vision a reality. So a leader is somebody who must help us to see beyond where we are now, and also who will guide us and inspire us to see that future and bring it into our reality. Those are the two things that a leader does. And therefore, if we can articulate a future and we can inspire others to pursue that as a reality, basically we are exhibiting the traits of leadership, and that is what a leader is. So we have looked at politics and we have also looked at leadership. Now we are going to look at a few other things. So what are the principles of leadership? Depending on what you are studying, you may find a lot of principles that are stated, but I would like to focus my concentration on these few areas. One, leadership is all about communication. Okay? And effective communication involves not only speaking, but also listening actively. So when we are thinking about leadership, I don't want you to start, first of all, thinking about the rankadades, about people trooping in your front and trooping behind and all that. People might ascribe such honor to a leader. But that's not what leadership is, first and foremost. Leadership is about listening, okay? Listening to people actively, and also being able to speak into the needs of the people. All right. So you will see a good leader creates opportunity for the people to be able to reach them, either in form of a town hall, or they have special platforms like SMS, or they deliberately come down to people's level and say, okay, let's meet at so platform, or they create a hotline by which people can get across to them. And now with the advent of social media, many leaders tend to have a social media handle where they are expecting that the views of the people can also be passed across to them. Although in many cases, some of those handles become verified and you can't even make a post into them. But leadership is all about conveying ideas clearly and ensuring everyone understands. So you want people to understand what you are talking about. You want them to understand what is happening, whether the decisions are easy, whether the decisions are tough. A leader basically wants to communicate in such a way that it will be understood. That's one key principle in leadership. Another driving principle in leadership is vision. Okay, a vision is a clear picture of a desirable future. A clear picture. This is what we want to do. Look at our state, for instance, here in Kwara State. Sometimes we talk about the Commonwealth. Okay, but in leadership, you really want to pass a vision to the people. You can, for instance, if we say housing for all by year 2040, okay, that is something definite, that is something clear that everybody can run with. Okay, I can say that in my administration, we want to, reduce poverty to the barest minimum, ensuring that not up to 5% of the community is living below the poverty line. That is something that a leader conveys, and it begins to inspire the people because they can see clearly the direction of where they are going. So a leader has the ability to set goals and inspire others to work towards achieving that vision. So having a vision and the capacity to influence others is another key characteristic of leadership. A third principle of leadership is integrity. And I want some of you are here, you are students of mathematics, you have heard a word called integer. When we are talking about integrating, they are all words from the same root. In many cases, you are trying to bring two sides of an equation together in order to form one. All right. So when you say integrity, you are talking about that person who is not living a double life, who every aspect of the life, visible and invisible, has harmonized to present a common status. So, and integrity is very foundational in leadership. It means being honest, whether under observation or without observation. It means being ethical. Ethical means giving due consideration of fairness and of not doing harm, but seeking to do the utmost good at all times. That is when one is trying to be ethical. It also means being consistent in one's actions. Okay? Integrity brings about consistency. You are predictable in terms of the consistency of your behavior. Right? So we want a leader that is consistent, because that helps you as a follower to know exactly how to relate with that leader. I have served under somebody who, whenever he commissions you to do anything, he is also standing by you. He is also there looking after you. And immediately you come back and you report the success or the effort of what you have done, that person will not deny you any right. So in serving under such a leader, I was so sure that once I'm able to act according to the mandate given to me, I am guaranteed the support of the person who has given me that mandate. Not once, not twice. I have tested that consistency. You want to be a leader, one thing that you must demonstrate is this consistency. It is very key. You need to be known that on certain matters of value system and virtues, you are highly predictable in such an area. And then a fourth key principle of leadership is innovation. Innovation. That means, introducing new methods or new processes or new ways in order to achieve a new outcome. It can be a method, it can be a product, it can be a process, but all you want to do is to achieve a new outcome. Usually, this new outcome is to the benefit of all. For instance, let me just say something as simple as if people queue before you to sign a form, and let's assume that by the process, 50 people will stand before you, and that means that they are pushing each other, they are doing one thing or the other, is not very convenient. A leader at that point in time will ask the question, what do I do to stop this crowd and to stop this distress? As soon as you begin to ask questions about the pain of another person, you will become an innovator. Every innovation that has been made in an effort to solve problems, to be a solution to somebody's pain. So sometimes when we talk about innovation is not about daydreaming. Innovation is being real. Innovation is being concerned. Innovation is having empathy for the situation of others and being committed to the good of others. As you get committed in that regard, you are going to be inspired into one solution or the other. There is nothing that is an innovative product today that was not an answer to a problem. If it had no problem that it was solving, it would not have become an innovation in the first instance. So do I challenge you to be a problem solver? You also try it in any small way. Just look at any difficult task. Look at any person that is in pain and ask yourself, how else can I help this person? Or how else can I intervene in this situation? As you focus on problem, you are going to have ideas. Even when God has given people gifts, those gifts are usually best expressed when they are being used to solve a problem. So innovation is doing new things, new ways, and having new products. That's innovation, but it gets inspired by the commitment to be a problem solver. Many people today want to get rich, but if you look at authentic rich people in society and in our world, they did not make the pursuit of money the primary objective. What they did was the pursuit of a problem. They were trying to solve a problem, and then they met riches on the way. And those are the authentic rich people. I'm careful in using the word authentic rich people. They are innovators. You won't find an authentic rich person that is not an innovator. All right. So innovation, these key principles are cardinal to leadership. Now let's look at politics and leadership. How do they interface? The two are almost practically inseparable. Politics allows strong leaders to create significant change by inspiring others and communicating a vision and driving the progress. So the political platform and the opportunity of authority that it provides then helps a leader to translate their capacities in order to have greater impact for the greater good of the people. So some will say, I don't want to get involved in politics, it is dirty. But you see, when we have left politics to dirty people, we have been getting very dirty outcomes. All right. So don't be too clean as to ignore politics. It is part and parcel of our development. Empowering young leaders to engage in politics is therefore essential in bringing about innovative solutions to the table. If you are a student of scripture, as I am, you will find that when God wanted to address different categories of people, he said, I speak unto you, young ones, because you are young. Okay? He sees in you your dynamism. He sees in you a future. And so God came to speak to the young ones. Sometimes God will not invest too much in the older people anymore, because they have entered into a stage where they are just dreaming. They are just dreaming about the past, and they are just dreaming, things like that. But he speaks unto young ones because they have energy. And he says it is good that a person should actually carry the responsibility of leadership in their youth. He said something like that in the book of Lamentation, that it is good to bear the yoke when you are young, to carry this responsibility of leadership in your younger years. So politics offers a platform that helps leadership to exercise greater impact. Okay. Now let's look at the way politics impacts our society, and you will realize that it impacts it in every dimension. There is actually no part of society that politics does not impact. We are just going to highlight some. Is it education? Okay. It is the political structure and the systems that influences the quality of education that a society is going to produce. It's going to influence how the institutions are structured, how the academics are well taken care of, what kind of facilities and provision are made for the optimum well-being of the students and the learning environment. You need a political will in order to get that going correctly. Of course, central to politics is the economy. Our politics affect our economy severely, and that is why that is why democracy is instituted, so that we can choose the right leaders that we can entrust with our economy. By our economy, they are administering all the resources of the nation, and if the political system is weak, if the political system is corrupt, if the political system is inappropriate, then you cannot have adequate economic growth. So if you just look at it, the nations that are strongest in the world in terms of having great economies, go and check their political system. They have strong political system that has also been responsible for that growth that they have had. So you could almost say that politics and economy grow in the same direction. You have a weak, corrupt politics. You have a bad economy or a weak economy. You have a good political system. You also have a vibrant economy. Okay. Then social justice. The political landscape helps with the question of social justice, the respect for human value, the respect for human life. So you have those social justice issues that come in. Even healthcare, it is the political system that determines that. The environment, and then, of course, cultural preservation. So, to summarize, politics affects practically every aspect of society, and that means that it is an area that we cannot ignore because it plays a role. These are some examples of teen leaders who have made a difference. I mean, we have them. I've just taken liberty of some of these because it's quite easy for us to Google and confirm them. And even in our own contemporary times, we have a young lady, 19-year-old, Coco Gauff, who just won a Grand Slam. That's the American Opens. Okay, she's black, she's young, and if you listen to her, you will see that already she is contributing to societal discourse. She's already expressing her opinion about certain issues, and you have them all over the place. So these are just some few examples, even in terms of historical antecedent. Alexander the Great, he succeeded his father, Alexander Philip II, and at the age of 20, he was king of Macedonia. He spent most of his years reigning in pursuing a lot of armed conflict in the whole of Europe and all of that. So we hear of him today, but he started that journey at the age of 20. You hear of Joan of Arc, that is a French lady who led the French army to several victories during the 100 Years' War. So at the age of 17, and I'm sure some of us are seated here, you are equally 17. You have Louis Braille, who invented the Braille system that is used by the visually impaired, and that was at the age of 15. So what the people who are challenged eyesight, what they use on their fingers to read and help them to learn, was invented by a 15-year-old. And of course, in our more contemporary times, you have Malala, who at the age of 17 has been a great advocate. I don't know how many countries she has visited, because she has been to Nigeria twice, and she's been in several international platforms, United Nations, being an advocate, canvassing for the girl child, and asking for social justice. So these are all different types of examples of young persons who have made it over time. Now, the question is, why should teens engage in politics? And I'll just give you some reasons. I'll not be able to elaborate because of time. Engaging in politics empowers teenagers to shape their future and influence policies that affect their lives. You know where the shoe pinches, you know what challenges you are facing, and when you engage in politics, you are able to offer that view, that opinion, make that contribution into the future, and not only for you, but for every other person who is going to pass through that stage of development also in their lives. Teenagers bring innovative ideas and perspective to politics, effectively addressing contemporary issues. I work with young people a lot, and I have come to discover that when you want things to get to be done, get it into the hand of the young persons. They will exceed your expectation. The ideas, the innovation, they are not afraid to try something. That is the benefit of being young. An older person is risk averse because experiences of life have taught them to be conservative. It's not as if that is bad. I mean, you're supposed to learn something from life. But again, there will be no discoveries if there were no adventurers. And hardly do you see older people listed as adventurers. So younger people bring innovations to the table. They are the ones who are ready to try something out and to see whether or not it will work. The political involvement of teens fosters responsibility by instilling civic duty, emphasizing active citizenship and community contribution. You remember several of the training programs, Boy Scout, Girls Guide, Girls Brigade, and all of those type of activities. You could see that one of the goals of those various programs is to instill discipline, to make the young person to be more focused. And I can say to you that as you get involved, you begin to recognize your responsibilities and emphasizing how you engage and how you work and how you see issues in your own case. Politics provides numerous learning opportunities, fostering essential skills such as communication, critical thinking, and problem solving. The person who is just sitting in their father's house and eating their father's food may have a different perspective of the world. But the person who has come out into that arena and has been able to see the way different needs are placed upon the table, who has come to begin to learn the art of negotiation in living with one another, that person's orientation is very different. Now, so teens have the potential to passionately advocate for their chosen causes, driving positive change in their communities. These are some of the reasons why teens should engage in politics. And what are some of the specific areas of engagement? They include education and awareness. So many of us, we are opinion, even though we are children, we are young persons in the home, but I want you to look around and you will see that many times, especially in our generation, you have parents who are ready to listen to you. And they want to hear your views. And so the young person can be a very important tool for education and for awareness promotion. Okay, you are trained and mentored by seasoned politicians, and when you join school politics, you begin to understand the political process, and then you have forums to discuss norms and highlight challenges faced by teens. As I said, in my working with young persons, sometimes I'm a patron for one organization or the other, and I see young people in leadership contending with some challenges. Some of my children, I encourage them specifically. I say, contest for this position, go for that position. It will equip you. The reason why I'm asking them to do that is because I believe in the process. I know that it will be a contribution to their growth and development. Another way we can get involved is through advocacy. You have a very strong appeal. You can gather yourselves together, organize yourselves together, advocating for funds to support a teen political initiative, as an example. You can engage in advocacy efforts to address societal issues or concern. Make yourself a pressure group, and because of the innocence that you bring into that space, many people will believe in a movement initiated by teens, and they will want to make financial resources available, or they might want to listen to them in order to make a legislative pronouncement. These are some of the ways in which you can get involved. And then also you can have active participation. That means outrightly going all the hog of engaging in youth political parties and rallies, getting registered with political parties, supporting one another in political adventures, and creating important pressure groups that may want to advocate for something. So you are not too young to run. That is a slogan that is common in our country. And I want to charge us that as part of building the future and giving Nigeria a better tomorrow, our teens will resolve to engage in politics and to exercise noble, visionary, and very determined leadership, even from whatever level you have now. I can only imagine the future that is ahead of us with the kind of people that are seated in this audience today. I want to wish you well in life, and I invite you to the exciting field of the political landscape of the country, and in the exercise of your innate leadership abilities, to which I said you should nurture it, culture it, and then deploy it to the advantage of the country. God bless you all. Thank you once again for this opportunity.